Hi, this is Brett Lonsdale from NLightning, and I'm here with Sandy. How are you, Sandy?
I'm very good. Thanks, Brett. How are you?
Very good as well. So, how's things over there in Naples?
Still about the same, still hot.
Still hot.
Yeah,
Good, good.
yeah.
Cool.
Still raining
Yeah,
every day.
we had a little bit of rain this morning, but yeah, kind of fluctuating temperatures and,
Mm.
and so on. But anyhow, here we are in I guess our first real episode
Yes.
of the Enlightening podcast, or whatever we're
Mhm.
going to call it. But yeah, so we've introduced what Enlightening is all about, and Sandy and I, we kind of got together and thought, what will be our first episode, and some of the things that are being talked about a lot at Microsoft at the moment and in the 365 space is Microsoft Viva.
Right.
And yeah, this is something that came out probably a couple of years ago now,
Mm,
getting on for that way
gosh,
anyway,
yeah,
over a year.
maybe. Yeah. That
um,
whole last couple years was so compressed. It's hard to remember.
yeah, absolutely. And Microsoft Viva launched with four different topics, or sorry, modules, I should call them, because topics is one of them. But yeah, things like topics and insights and so on.
Mhm.
But they've just actually launched two new
Mhm.
ones, or they're launching
Mhm.
two new ones anyway. And one of them is around goal setting and OKRs, and the other one is around sales integration. So yeah, we have Microsoft Viva Sales and the Microsoft Viva Goals, right? So yeah, I thought we could start off talking about the OKRs and the goals.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Oh, sure.
Cool. So, well, Sandy, what did you know about it?
Well, I know that it is that Viva Goals is going to be a way of helping the whole team work together to achieve the business goals by making things more visible. What are the business's goals, and having I'm trying to remember now what OKR stands for exactly. Objective something. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
key results.
Yeah. But having those visible, and so that people can work together toward achieving those and see what the results are being, I think is the purpose of that
Yeah,
technology.
absolutely. That's cool. So yeah, we've I mean gone through quite a journey here ourselves in
Hmm.
Lightning and also in Lightning tools with regards to goal setting,
Hmm.
and I think this is a fantastic movement coming from Microsoft and building some software around this, uh, because yeah, in Microsoft Teams there are some apps from other third parties that you can use in order to sort of measure goals and so on. Some people actually just use things like task lists and what have you. But this whole sort of story of leadership and setting goals has been part of my personal journey for quite some time now. Yeah, we've been running Lightning tools for about 15 years, and we're well into our, well, I guess, third year of in Lightning as well.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, there's been a tremendous amount of growth, and part of that is actually about growing with your employees. And I think um, one of the key things that a lot of companies, especially smaller companies, need to do is actually get clear on what actually their objective is as an organization, and one way to accomplish that is by building a vision. And part of that vision can really start to filter down to what an employee does every single day. And when you take a look at the vision, first of all, you should create the vision in a way that we're actually really sort of closing our eyes and imagining what our company is going to be like in 3 years time or 5 years time, or whenever you want to set that vision out for, and not just what it feels like and so on, and not just how many employees you're going to have and what your revenue is going to be and so on, but actually really get a feel for what that company is. So if you sort of put your mind in that space like it is 3 years from now, and look at it in past tense instead of future tense, you can really start to believe, yeah, this is how my company can be, as a result. And you get clearer on, who's going to be in your company, what sort of personalities and what positions you're going to have as well. And if I look back at Lightning Tools 15 years ago when we first created the company, um, we had two people in the company initially, myself and Nick's one, and we both tried to do everything, and we conflicted a lot of the time as well. So one of the things that's really a requirement, I would say, of any business is to actually, even if you're a one-man band, is to actually build a structure diagram, not against the people inside the organization, but the roles inside the organization. So, you have a CEO, you have a CTO, you have a finance director, and so on, and describe everything inside of those roles and what the qualities are that are going to be coming out of those roles as well, and making sure that that hierarchy actually aligns with that business vision. So you can only achieve that vision if you've got this structure. So when you're actually working as a one-man band, it might be, one day I'm being sales, another day I'm being tech
Or 1
support,
hour and the next hour.
yeah, exactly. But it becomes clearer on when I need to hire somebody, where I need to hire them, and what qualities they will have, and so on. But also, you can't just say, all right, I'm at the point where I need to hire a salesperson. So I'm going to go and find somebody that has got a proven track record of good sales and all that sort of stuff. That person has got to have their own personal vision that aligns with your business vision as well. They've got to be the right personality, and they have to fit. Otherwise, they're going to come with all their baggage, and it may not actually align at all with what you're trying to achieve here. And one of the ways of accomplishing that is by, of course, hiring the right person in the first place, but then also meeting with them regularly. And a lot of organizations will just have a annual review or something like that, where you give feedback to that person once a year, and they give feedback to you. But by that point, it's often too late, and that person may have moved on, or you're trying to retrain them on something they've just spent 12 months doing it incorrectly, and now you're trying to get them to fix that. Whereas if you have like a weekly employee development meeting, this is the ideal place where you can actually dig deep into what their goals themselves are. So what's their personal goals, and really start to coach them to achieve their personal goals, and make sure that those personal goals are aligning with your business goals. So you might have somebody that has a desire to be a Microsoft MVP, or has a desire to pass some Microsoft exams to a certain level, and what have you. And that it can be a great accomplishment for them, but can really serve your business as well once they've achieved that. And I think this software here, Microsoft Viva, really helps to actually align each of these different roles inside that hierarchy with the vision of the company, and managers getting clear on what those OKRs should be and when they should be achieved by is the other important thing as well, but also what it means to them as an employee as well.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, speaking for myself as a business owner also, sometimes you sort of think that or assume that that your team understands what your business goals are, but they might be kind of working at cross purposes almost, or just doing their day-to-day work, but not necessarily always keeping that big picture in their minds. And so I think that something like Viva Goals is a good way to keep that big picture in front of people too, and see how what they're doing contributes to that, and always thinking about what am I doing that's contributing to the big picture, not just to getting my to-do list crossed off.
Yeah, absolutely. And how can you actually do a good job for the company if you don't know what the company vision is? And I think that's really what I'm trying to say here, is like the leaders inside the business need to be clear themselves, because often that's not the case. The CEO may have been hired to run an organization, and they're just focused on revenue or something like that, and not necessarily culture or what have you. But yeah, to get clear on what the business is going to be, what it's going to deliver, and make sure that everything is aligned to that, and that the vision is communicated to every single employee, because they will forget it. And I think every single strategic meeting you have, that vision needs to be read out.
Yeah, because you
And
get wrapped up in what you're doing day to day, and dealing with customers or whatever, but and sometimes it's easy to forget what you're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just take, a tech support role as an example, you could see your job as, yeah, my job is to answer these questions, and um, I'm not being, I'm not generating revenue for the company and all that sort of stuff. Therefore, I'm not contributing, and you don't actually have a personal value.
Mm,
Or you could actually see it as, yeah, because this is the vision. The vision is to provide, the best customer service that can possibly be given through any form of software company in the Microsoft space. Now my job means something because
mm,
I'm helping the company achieve that vision.
mm,
And yeah, you can align passing more Microsoft exams with being the best customer service company in the world. uh, yeah, it's aligned then. And likewise, you with any position inside
mm.
that company.
Yeah, definitely.
And what a better place to have it. Everybody's spending more and more time in Teams and in
Right.
SharePoint and so on. So having this ability to manage those OKRs, we can have employee development meetings in Teams and set those OKRs and measure those OKRs in order to achieve those goals.
Mm.
I think it's fantastic.
Yep. I saw there's
Cool.
going to be like a dashboard page too, where you can see your progress toward all the different goals and toward the overall overarching vision. So yeah, sounds very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
think
think
it's
that's supposed
absolutely
to come
paramount.
out, they're saying third quarter. I think it's in public preview. I think public preview currently,
Mhm.
maybe
Okay.
private.
Yeah,
Not sure.
fantastic. Sounds great. And so you've also been taking a look at Viva Sales.
Yes, yes, that was just announced a couple weeks ago, and that's something that is coming. They're saying it's coming fourth quarter, fourth calendar quarter, and the idea behind that it's the first Viva module that is geared toward a specific role, as opposed to all the other ones could be for any of your team members, but this one is just for sellers, and the idea is to uh, prevent them needing to spend all their day doing busy work, entering things into your CRM. According to the website information, the Viva Sales is going to be able to be integrated with any CRM, so not just Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's CRM, of course. And from what I read, Viva Sales is going to be included with Dynamics Sales. But it says that it will also integrate with other CRMs, which would mean like, I don't know about Salesforce,
Salesforce
but
is, I'm pretty sure I saw Salesforce
yeah,
high
and
up on that
HubSpot
agenda,
I
but
saw mentioned.
yeah.
I saw
Hmm.
HubSpot mentioned, and yeah, I know there are a couple other ones. But then the idea it being to integrate that with all of the Microsoft 365 tools and Microsoft Teams. So, for example, you'd be able to have chats in Teams with your colleagues about clients and be able to easily tag clients, and the tag I guess goes back to your CRM, so that all of the information about clients, no matter where that lives, would be available to people when they're in the middle of talking about that. So that would be in Outlook and Teams. In Excel, I saw some examples, so you could sort of automatically tag things to go into, if you were keeping an Excel sheet on your personal leads and where things stand, because maybe you want that in a different, I know salespeople do that a lot.
Yep.
You've got all the information in your CRM, but you still create spreadsheets about your specific things that you're trying to achieve. But if all of that could be tied together using Viva Sales, then you could just enter things once instead of entering them many times. And some of the things you don't even have to enter. So, like if you're having a meeting with one of your clients, all of that Teams meeting information is automatically going to be recorded with as I understand it, with the client information, and including like a transcript and of what you talked about, which can also automatically pull out using AI, pull out the action items. So at the end of a meeting, the transcript can go through and see, you said you'd do this and you said that you do that, and then you can automatically make those into tasks to achieve, which then all gets um, not necessarily saved with, but is able to be accessed along with the client information. So yeah, it looks like a great way of uh, keeping people away from just the busy work and doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is selling, and having all of the right information at their fingertips to be able to do that.
Fantastic. And I think, you know, the way that sales operate, the integration with a sales CRM tool and things like SharePoint and so on has always been a bit disjointed, and even with Outlook and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember the early days of sort of Dynamics 365 where you had maybe an Outlook add-in where you could actually just take a message and then submit it to a customer or something like that, or a contact that was in Dynamics, but yeah, that would cause Outlook to freeze and all sorts of things, and it was a bit, I don't know, not quite
Mm. Well, and it's always an extra
polished.
step. But yeah.
yeah, it's always something else that you had to do. So people would resort to copying and pasting messages and so on, and then you just lose that flow of what that
Mm.
communication is like. And
Mm-hmm.
you see some salespeople, especially like outbound sales calls, where they're hitting sort of 40 or 50 contacts a day. It might be one of the OKRs, and just totally forgetting who it is they've contacted and why they've contacted them, or what conversations have taken place, maybe on the phone or something like that. So yeah, I think it's absolutely key to make sure that those things are aligned.
Mm. Yeah.
For
So yeah,
sure.
it
So
sounds like a really cool integration. And uh, yeah, I think that's all I had in my notes to say about that.
yeah, I'm really excited to see how that unfolds.
Hmm.
As you mentioned, I mean, even with something like HubSpot that we use in Lightning Tools, that in itself has been a game changer for us. I think it's a really amazing tool. The way that you can email through there, and all of that is seamless. You can make
All through there.
VoIP calls through there, as opposed to once upon a time you were using an actual phone to make calls, or you were using Skype, and so on. And again, the recording of those conversations and so on wasn't actually that easy, whereas it all is through things like HubSpot and Dynamics and Salesforce now. That's come on a long way.
Yep.
But yeah, people will always resort to Outlook and the rest of Office for things, as you mentioned. So
Hmm.
yeah, it
Yeah. So
only makes
that's
sense.
that integration part is the key to Viva Sales. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sounds good. I'm looking
Yep.
forward to seeing how that comes out.
Yeah, and so we'll put links to the various documentation and videos and things that there are so far. Like Viva Goals actually has documentation on Microsoft's documentation website by now, because that was
Yeah,
announced in May. Viva Sales doesn't yet, but it's got some, teaser videos and
yeah.
blog posts and things like that. So we can include links to that if you're interested in more information. And then, of course, we'll be happy to help as well.
Sounds good. Well,
Mm,
I look forward to it, and I guess we'll be recording again in a couple of weeks. So
yep.
yeah, sounds good.
All right. So I'll
All right,
talk to you
take
later.
care, Sandy.
You
Yeah,
too.
bye for now.
Bye.